One thing that does not quite make sense to me, and I'm talking to my atheist friends here, is why you guys put thumbs down instead of thumbs up. Let's think about it for just a second. If you put thumbs up, then more atheists get to see my videos so that they can mock and laugh at me. And then on top of that, if more atheists see my videos, then surely really smart atheists will be able to just undo and undermine and destroy everything that I say in the comments or maybe even in their own videos. And I will get the point and shut up and disappear from YouTube forever. So instead of making this an uphill battle, why don't you speed the process along? So I promise you also, anybody who has tuned in for the title, is that I have some science information here in like a minute or so that you do not have yet. It is very unlikely that you've already looked into this. Maybe 1 out of 1,000 people would even know what I'm about to talk about. But so somebody recently in the comments, like especially on the last video, they wanted to challenge me about biblical prophecy. And they were like, will you please list some biblical prophecy so that I can tell you and tear you apart so that we can know that it's not really true. And I was like, well, I got, something better. What about prophecies that are coming true or that are absolutely going to come true? And that's what I promise today is by science. We see from science that these prophecies are going to come true here in the pretty near future. And I don't make a proclamation of when, but let's read these, fairy tale prophecies that come out of the scripture. So I'm reading from Revelation 8:6, and I just have a few verses. I know the Bible is a verse to most of you guys, but just hang on. Then the 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets got ready to blow them. The first angel blew his trumpet. Hail and fire mixed with blood were thrown down on the earth. A third of the earth was burned up, a third of the trees were burned up, and all the grass was burned up. The second angel blew his trumpet. Something that looked like a huge mountain on fire was thrown into the sea. A third of the sea turned into blood. A third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. The third angel blew his trumpet. Then a great star fell from the sky. It looked like a blazing torch. It fell on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the water turned bitter. Many people died from it. Now everybody knows that Revelation's talking about the end of time, but these trumpets here specifically talk about hail and fire, something like a big mountain being thrown, and a blazing torch being thrown on the earth. Now, it doesn't take much imagination to go, hey, maybe it's talking about asteroids. And so if that's the case, do we have any kind of scientific proof that this stuff is going to happen or come our direction? So I don't know exactly when this video will post, but today is July 7th, and just yesterday on July 6th, a huge asteroid just passed us on the other side of the moon. Now, when you think of space and the likelihood of something getting that close to us, that's pretty stinking close. And but would it have been a big deal? Well, it was only about 65 foot wide. But that's not really what gets me about it. What kind of gets me about it is the name of it. It was called 2025 MN88. So I was kind of digging into that a little bit. I was like, 2025. I was like, wow. How many asteroids have been named 2025 this year? And then here's some of the information I found out, is that one asteroid, and we're talking about from this point backwards, okay? One asteroid this year was found 1 month ahead of time before we knew it was going to pass near the Earth. And all of these are within a lunar length. I want you to think about that, within a lunar length. So we found it a month out, and it was like, whew, well, we found it, and it passed us closer than the moon, but okay. Another one we found a week out before it was supposed to come by. Okay, some heads up. And at this point, as I was studying and looking into these things, which you can all find online, double check me, please double check me on this. So as you're looking this stuff up, you'll find that there is a global watch system where there is a lot of countries and labs and telescopes, etc., looking into the heavens and trying to see what's out there before it comes our direction. And there's a reason for that. There's a strong reason for that, which I'm going to get to. They also found 20 in 7 days or under before they passed the earth. 20, we're up to 22 this year before, so we saw them 7 days out. There is something I'm going to tell you about. It's called the DART program. I forget the acronym or what it's for, but it stands for we're basically we're trying to send satellites or any kind of space traveling object at a high speed to try to possibly deflect these things. And this was tried a year or so ago, and it had some unexpected results. Like one of the things it did was we slammed this satellite into I think this was a comet to try to throw it, not a comet. It was an asteroid. We hit it to try to throw it off course, and it actually caught on fire. Well, if you go back to reading Revelation 8, it says that like fire was thrown down to the earth. That's just interesting, is it not? That this book was written 2,000 years ago. And so anyway, 20 of them were found 7 days before. 24 this year were found 8 hours before they passed us. You would think with all the telescopes and all the science and all of the abilities we have to look at things, until you start thinking about the scope and size of the universe around us, we're not going to spot all the objects that are coming our direction. I got proof of that. We're not going to spot them all. But 24 of them were found 8 hours, just 8 hours before getting to us. And 17 were found after they passed us. Nobody of all the people out there that were looking through the skies, trying to make sure that some comet, or I guess you could see a comet, asteroid, trying to make sure that some asteroid that's coming our direction, we would see it ahead of time, and we've got some early warning mechanism, and maybe we can take another satellite and smash it into it and save humanity. Except that we missed 17 of them this year until after they passed us, and most of the time there's very little warning about them passing us. But I made a video on this previously, and I'm just going to reference it. But the asteroid Apophis is in the circling orbit, and I made this video. I think it's like almost 3 years ago now, and we're halfway there, but it's supposed to come back in 2029, come past us. Now, if the moon is like 220,000 plus miles away, Apophis is supposed to get like within 20,000 miles of us. It is going to pass closer than some of our long distance satellites. At best case scenario, does it clip several of our important satellites? But there's something that science has just found out as well that you need to understand. It's called the Yarkovsky effect. It's that as these asteroids are flying through space and they're getting heated by the sun on one time, they have this rotation. They've got different rotational speeds and spins to them. But as it's heated, as it's turning, the heated side acts like propulsion and alters the path of the asteroid. Now, if you're thinking about really large spaces, precision's a very, very big thing. We know that a 1 degree angle at not even that far of a space is way off. But some things you might not be aware of is like, let's say a lot of these are coming in an elliptical orbit or whatnot. Did you know there's no perfect mathematical formula for an ellipse? And then you multiply that times the Yarkovsky effect, and 20,000 miles, kind of close, in my opinion, to an asteroid slinging by the Earth. And let's say it goes past, let's say that Apophis misses us. Well, great, we get another chance in 2036. Further, we know that gravity pulling on it from bodies that it gets close to every time that it passes something, that gravity changes the orbit a bit. If that's not enough to just kind of, spark a little bit of trepidation in you as to some things unsettling things might be ahead. They've just found, and I'm talking not even a month back at this point, they just found 3I Atlas. And there's a reason they're calling it Atlas. And I forgot a detail. Apophis is in size the height of a skyscraper, okay? That's one reason we're kind of worried about Apophis. It's the size of a skyscraper hurtling through space towards us again and again. It's got multiple passes. And on top of that, see, here it is. It's coming our direction, and it's massive. But we just found 3I Atlas, and it's not from our solar system. It's from outside our solar system. And so they're calling it an intergalactic object. And it's moving. It is fast. It's not just fast like, the rotation of a satellite around the Earth at, something like 17,000 miles an hour. We're talking 56 miles per second fast. And if you're not familiar with these kind of things, something that traveling that fast is terribly hard to measure. And if we call it with the Yarkovsky effect, where the sun is heating it, have you ever thought about a baseball pitcher? Are you familiar enough with physics to understand is it the knuckleball that sits still and is coming at you, but it's moving all over because of the resistance? Well, let's just say that this 3I Atlas is a knuckleball with the Yarkovsky effect. The heat coming off the front might cause it to be doing something like this. And how do you calculate its trajectory? Or maybe it does spin some, and we don't have the perfect formula for an ellipse. This thing is flying incredibly fast, and it's got some kind of weird angle and push to it. And but it's okay. It's supposed to go past Mars first. I think it's 0.4 AU units away from Mars, but some other scientists have done the calculations like, no, it's 2 AU. There is a chance that it could hit Mars. Well, if it's headed our direction and it hits Mars first, what color is Mars, by the way? Red? Can you imagine, and I left this out, Atlas is 12 miles wide. It's no small Apophis. This thing is ginormous. It is massive, and it's hurtling our direction. And if that hit Mars, do you not think there would be a massive amount of splash damage then that would be thrown our direction like a shotgun blast? Talk about fire and stuff falling to the earth, fire mingled with blood. Well, I can see how red planet stuff, burning fire would probably burn really red. I don't know what color Mars stuff burns. But good news is that's coming in October. We will just get to see what the outcome is come October. I'm not trying to stir up fear. I'm trying to warn you that the scripture is true. It's absolutely true. You believe in science? Well, science is aligning with scripture. And we're sitting here with, I can't remember how many asteroids it's been this past year that have flown past us and we're not even seeing them. And now we've seen one that's 12 miles wide coming our direction that we can't fully, entirely calculate. But there's better news than this. In case, let's just say God is gracious. I just found out that our sun, I don't know what the name of our sun is. That's interesting. Is it Helio 1? I don't know. But anyhow, I found out that Alpha Centauri, our next closest star, and the sun are converging. They're coming closer together. Do you know what that means for everything that's in their orbits? They're going to become closer together, and they are postulating, and maybe they know this, I'm not 100% certain on this, but I think they're postulating that's where some of this galactic stuff is coming from that everybody's on a watch out for, like, oh man, oh my goodness. We need an alert system, and we need the DART system, and NASA needs more funding. You bet it does if you're going to try to save the planet. Good luck, God's already condemned it. But yeah, you need a warning and alert system. I'm just trying to tell you what's out there. The scripture has proved itself enough times to be true. And now we have science confirming the direction of the next series of prophecies to be fulfilled. And none of this might even hit us in the next little bit. It might not. But who knows what tomorrow holds? We have a glimpse of it. We don't know it exactly. I would encourage you, if you have any feeling about you at all, any concern at all that you need to get things right with God, I beg you to give your heart to Jesus Christ.